The Hypocrisy of America's Elite, a call to action against greed and division. Good evening, America. Tonight, we confront a crisis, not one born of foreign enemies, but from within. The laboring class, the backbone of this nation, is under attack, not by invaders, but by the very elites who preach freedom, prosperity, and the so-called American dream. I'm naming names: Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and their enablers across the political spectrum. These figures weaponize their privilege, exploit workers, immigrants, and our social systems, all while dividing us with their hypocrisy. Let's start with their favorite myth, the self-made man. Musk and Trump proudly wave this banner, but the truth tells a very different story. Musk's empire began with family wealth, including funds tied to emerald mines and a $28,000 loan from his father. Add to that taxpayer-funded subsidies and government contracts, and you'll see his success was built on the backs of others. Trump's so-called self-made legacy is even more glaring. He inherited $413 million from his father, Fred Trump, who repeatedly bailed him out of financial ruin. These men have never labored with their hands, yet they have the audacity to lecture America's workers about self-reliance. Hypocrisy, pure and simple. And then there's Melania Trump, who worked undocumented as a model before securing an Einstein visa intended for extraordinary abilities. Meanwhile, poor undocumented spouses of American citizens face 10-year bans just to reunite their families. The message is clear. The legal path exists only for the wealthy, while the working class suffers in silence. Now let's address their false war between capitalism and socialism. These elites demonize socialism while quietly reaping its benefits through subsidies, tax breaks, and bailouts. At the same time, they exploit capitalism to hoard wealth and rig the system. America doesn't need to choose between capitalism and socialism. We thrive when both systems are balanced. Social Security, Medicare, and workers' rights weren't gifts from the elite. They were paid for with the blood and sacrifice of laborers. But these systems are under siege. From wrongful denials of workers' compensation to private equity schemes and immigration prisons, the elite profit while the rest of us pay the price. Nowhere is this hypocrisy clearer than in immigration. On one hand, the elite claims Social Security is going broke because there aren't enough young workers. On the other, they demonize immigrants, laborers ready to work, pay taxes, and contribute. Immigrants aren't takers. They are workers, essential to industries that sustain this nation. Blocking their path isn't just hypocrisy, it's sabotage. And where's the media in all of this? Figures like Joe Rogan glorify Musk and Trump without questioning their deceit. On the left, journalists like Tom Hartman and Randy Rhoads focus on partisan battles, often ignoring the systemic greed that drives inequality. Even unions like the Teamsters, once champions of labor, have fallen silent on critical issues like national workers' compensation reform. Where is their fight for basic human rights for workers? This isn't just a moral failing, it's a spiritual one. The God I learned about in Sunday school would condemn this greed. Matthew 21 reminds us how Jesus overturned the tables of the money changers, declaring, "My house shall be called a house of prayer, but you make it a den of thieves." If Jesus were here today, he'd overturn those tables again. But he's not here yet. So until then, it's up to us to stand and fight in his name. America, it's time to wake up. This isn't about left versus right or capitalism versus socialism. It's about justice versus greed, fairness versus exploitation. Immigrants are not the problem. Laborers are not the problem. The problem is greed. And it's time to turn the tables. To the elites, you cannot serve both God and money. America's laborers will no longer be silenced. To the media and unions, stop enabling the elite. Call them out for what they are, exploiters of the very systems they pretend to despise. And to every American listening tonight, demand fair immigration policies, federal workers' rights, and the preservation of socialized benefits. This is the fight of our generation, and we will not back down. America was built by laborers, not elites. Let us ensure it remains a country for the people, not the privileged.